Ever wonder why some VA claims sail through the system while others drag on for months or even years? It's not always about how severe your condition is or how long you served. Sometimes it comes down to small, avoidable mistakes that slip through the cracks. And here's the harsh truth. One misstep, one missing detail, or one unchecked box can send your claim straight into limbo. For thousands of veterans, that means delays in care, lost back pay, and a frustrating cycle of silence in the system they thought would support them. You might think you've done everything right. You filled out the paperwork, told your story, and waited patiently. But behind the scenes, there are hidden bottlenecks, missteps that aren't obvious until your claim grinds to a halt. These aren't just clerical errors. They're patterns. And if you don't know what to watch for, you could end up stuck like so many others, wondering why your file hasn't moved in months. In this video, we're going to break down 5 of the most common and costly mistakes veterans make when filing VA claims. These aren't rumors or guesswork. They're based on real cases and real delays that have derailed thousands of claims across the country. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly what to avoid, what to double check, and what small changes could save you months of waiting and possibly thousands of dollars in benefits. So stay with me until the end, because if you're thinking of filing or you're stuck in the system right now, this could be the difference between another year of silence and finally getting the answer you deserve. Let's get into it. One of the most common mistakes that delays a VA claim, and often the very first one, is submitting incomplete medical evidence. It sounds simple, right? But this single oversight has cost veterans months, sometimes years, in processing time. The VA isn't just looking for a diagnosis. They're looking for a clear connection, a direct line from your current condition to your military service. And unless that link is spelled out in black and white, your claim could sit in limbo while someone tries to piece it together. Here's the part most people miss. Just having a medical record isn't enough. The VA wants what's called a nexus, a medical opinion that connects your disability to your time in service. Without that, your claim is missing its backbone. Imagine submitting a claim for back pain that started after years of carrying gear, but the only thing in your file is a doctor's note saying you have back issues. That won't cut it. The VA needs a medical professional to say, yes, it's more likely than not this condition is related to their service. Without that sentence, your claim can stall or be denied outright. Veterans often assume that because their pain is real and their service history is documented, the VA will make the connection. But the VA doesn't assume. It checks boxes. And if that key link isn't there, your file gets pushed aside, marked needs development, and you're stuck waiting for months until someone flags it, or worse, you're told to start over. So here's what to do instead. Before you even file, make sure you've got a clear medical nexus in writing. Talk to your doctor. Ask them to write a brief, clear statement connecting your condition to your time in uniform. That one step, just a few sentences, could be the thing that keeps your claim from being delayed, denied, or buried in red tape. Because when the evidence is complete from the start, the VA has no excuse to stall. And that means you're one step closer to the benefits you've earned. Another mistake that quietly sabotages VA claims is underestimating how critical your personal statements are. A lot of veterans assume their medical records and service history speak for themselves. But the truth is, your words matter just as much as the paperwork. When the VA reviews your file, they're not just looking at lab results or x-rays. They want context. They need your perspective. And when that's missing or written like a rushed afterthought, it leaves holes in your story that the VA won't fill in for you. Here's what most people get wrong. They keep it too vague. They say things like, I've had knee pain since the military, or my PTSD started after deployment, without offering any detail. But the VA isn't going to connect the dots unless you give them a reason to. They want specific incidents, dates if you remember them, and a clear explanation of how your condition impacts your daily life. The more vivid and personal you make it, the harder it is for them to ignore. Think of it like this. The personal statement is your chance to talk directly to the person reviewing your case, someone who doesn't know you, your history, or what you've been through. If you gloss over the details or treat the statement like a formality, you're giving up your only opportunity to humanize your claim. And the VA process already feels cold and distant enough without you staying silent. Even worse, some veterans don't include a statement at all, or they let someone else write it for them, thinking that will carry more weight. But a secondhand account can't replace your own voice. Your story, your own words, are what fill an emotional and practical impact of your condition, and that's what sticks. So if you're filing a claim, don't skip the personal statement. Take your time. Describe what you went through. Explain when the symptoms started, how they've changed, and what your day looks like because of them. Be honest, be detailed, and don't hold back, because your statement isn't just a form. It's your one chance to be heard before someone makes a decision that could affect your life for years to come. A third misstep that delays countless VA claims is submitting outdated or irrelevant medical records. It's easy to assume that any documentation is good documentation, but the VA doesn't just want to see that you were injured once. They need to see what's happening now, how your condition affects you today. If your last medical visit was 3 years ago, or if your records don't reflect how severe your symptoms currently are, the VA might conclude your condition isn't serious, or worse, that it's resolved. And here's where it gets tricky. A lot of veterans rely solely on VA medical visits, thinking that everything gets documented automatically. But VA providers are often overworked, and your symptoms might be brushed over, minimized, or left out entirely. If that happens, your file might show a stable condition, even if you're struggling daily. That could be enough for a claim to be delayed, lowballed, or flat out denied. Then there's the problem of unrelated records. Sometimes, veterans submit thick files full of scans, lab work, or treatments that have nothing to do with their claim. All that does is bog down your case and bury the important stuff. The reviewer shouldn't have to dig for the evidence. They should see it clearly, right at the top. So what's the fix? Make sure your medical evidence is both recent and relevant. If you're dealing with chronic pain, mental health issues, or mobility problems, get evaluated now, not 6 months from now. Make sure your provider documents your symptoms thoroughly. And if they don't be afraid to follow up or seek a second opinion. You can also include private medical records, as long as they're focused on the condition you're claiming. And before you submit, go through your records with a fine-tooth comb. Ask yourself, does this clearly show the severity of what I'm dealing with today? If the answer is no, don't count on the VA to figure it out. Update it. Strengthen it. Because when your medical documentation is clear, current, and complete, your claim has a real chance of moving forward without delay. The fourth mistake that quietly ruins countless VA claims is assuming the VA will connect the dots for you. A lot of veterans think, they have my records, they know I served, they can see the injury. But the VA doesn't operate that way. If there isn't a clear, documented link between your military service and your current condition, the claim can stall for months, or worse, get denied outright. Here's what most people don't realize. It's not enough to have a diagnosis. You also need a nexus. That's the official term for a connection, something that ties your condition directly to your time in service. Without it, the VA sees your injury or illness as potentially unrelated. And unless you've spelled it out clearly or have a qualified medical opinion doing it for you, they're not going to go out of their way to make that connection. Imagine two veterans. Both suffer from back pain. Both served in physically demanding roles. But one submits a medical opinion from a doctor stating, it is at least as likely as not that the veteran's current back condition is related to the physical strain endured during military service. The other just lists back pain and provides treatment notes from years after discharge. Guess which claim gets traction and which one goes into a pile labeled inconclusive. It doesn't matter how obvious the connection seems to you. The VA works on proof, not assumptions. That's why a strong nexus letter from a physician, especially one familiar with VA claims, can make or break your case. This letter should be detailed, based on a full review of your records, and use the right language. Phrases like more likely than not, or at least as likely as not, aren't just filler. They're legal standards that signal to the VA that your case meets the burden of proof. And don't wait to be asked. If you know your condition is linked to your service, document it clearly from the start. Whether it's a combat-related injury, long-term wear and tear, or a mental health issue triggered by deployment, get it in writing. Because when you leave the VA guessing, they're far more likely to delay or deny. But when you show them the full picture, clean, connected, and credible, You give your claim the clarity it needs to move forward. The fifth misstep, one that quietly wrecks thousands of VA claims every year, is failing to respond to VA requests quickly, or worse, ignoring them altogether. Most veterans don't realize that once a claim is submitted, the VA starts a ticking clock. And if they send you a letter, an email, or even schedule an exam, the countdown begins. Miss it, delay it, or let it slip through the cracks, and your claim could get kicked back to square one without you even realizing why. Here's the brutal truth. The VA isn't obligated to chase you down. If they ask for additional evidence, clarification, or schedule a CNP exam, and you don't show up or respond in time, they may mark your case as incomplete. And when that happens, everything pauses or gets denied entirely. Some veterans don't even find out until months later, when they check the status and see nothing has moved. What makes this worse is how easily it can happen. Letters go to old addresses, emails get buried, phone calls are missed, but the VA won't wait forever. If you miss a deadline, even by accident, it can cause a delay that stretches out your claim for months or forces you to start over. That's why being proactive isn't optional. It's essential. Check your mail regularly. Monitor your VA.gov account. Keep your contact information updated. And when something shows up, act fast. If they ask for records, send them. If they schedule an exam, go. And if you're not sure what they're asking for, call and ask. Because a few days of inaction can cost you months or even years of progress. The veterans who get through the system faster are the ones who treat every step like it matters. They don't assume someone else is handling it. They don't wait until it's convenient. They treat each request as urgent, because in the VA system, it is. So if you've already filed or plan to soon, make sure you're not the reason your claim gets stuck. Stay alert, stay responsive, and don't let a missed letter be the thing that holds everything up. The sixth mistake is one most veterans don't even realize they're making: underestimating the importance of lay statements. These are personal statements from you, your family members, or people who serve with you, describing how your condition affects your daily life or how it began during service. And while they may not seem as official as a doctor's note or a military record, they can carry a surprising amount of weight if done right. Here's why they matter. The VA isn't just looking for medical records. They want to understand the full impact of your condition, physically, emotionally, and functionally. Medical reports can show lab results or imaging, but they don't capture the way pain keeps you up at night, how you avoid stairs because your knees can't handle them, or how your anxiety keeps you from being in crowds. That's where lay statements come in. They fill the gaps medical records can't. But many veterans skip this step. They either assume it's unnecessary or they rush through it, submitting vague sentences like, "My condition affects me every day." That's not enough. What the VA needs is a clear, detailed picture of how your life has changed. Think specifics. "I haven't been able to pick up my grandchildren since my back injury. I now require help dressing on bad days. My spouse has to remind me to take my medication because my memory is getting worse." And it's not just about your own statement. Statements from people around you, your spouse, co-workers, friends, even fellow service members, can reinforce your story. Maybe they remember the accident. Maybe they've seen your condition get worse. Maybe they're the ones helping you with tasks you used to handle on your own. Their words can confirm your experience and show that this isn't just your perception. It's something others can validate. The VA often struggles to assess the full human cost of a condition just by looking at charts. But when a personal statement paints a vivid, undeniable picture of daily struggle, especially one that's backed by people close to you, it becomes harder for them to dismiss your claim or downplay its severity. So if you haven't written a detailed lay statement or asked anyone else to, it's time. Don't leave your story untold, because sometimes it's your words, not just your records, that finally move the needle. When it comes to VA claims, the smallest misstep can cost you months or even years without you realizing it. From missing crucial evidence to overlooking a lay statement, each detail in this process matters more than most people think. And what's most frustrating is that these delays don't just waste time. They can impact your access to care, your financial stability, and your peace of mind. But now you know better. You've seen how a single missing form, an unreturned call, or vague medical language can hold everything up. And more importantly, you've seen what to do differently, whether you're just starting your claim or have been stuck in limbo for too long. The power to move forward is in your hands. Double-check your records. Respond quickly to every request. Don't assume the VA will fill in the blanks for you. Make your story clear, complete, and hard to ignore. And if you've already made one of these mistakes, don't beat yourself up. Most veterans do. What matters is what you do next, because fixing it now could save you months of waiting and finally get you the benefits you deserve. We want to thank you for spending your time with us today. If you found this video helpful, please drop a comment below and let us know which point hit home for you. Your experience might help another veteran avoid the same mistake. And if you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos designed to inform, empower, and support you through this process. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And your claim? It deserves to be heard, respected, and resolved. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.